Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys my updated vinyl record collection for 2023. I'm so excited to make this video. I really look forward to it every single year. I made videos where I showed my updated collection for 2021 and 2022, so if you want to see those, I'll leave links at the end of this video and in the description. Today I'm going to be showing you guys all of the new records that I got in 2022. My collection has grown a lot since last year. I gained about 28 records. I have unboxed pretty much all of these records on my channel, so if you want to see unboxings for these, you can check those videos out after this video. If you're new to my channel, I make a ton of different vinyl related content, so subscribe if you want to see more. 2022 was a really great year for my vinyl record collection journey. Last year was the first year where I started getting bands and artists and brands reaching out to me and they wanted to send me vinyl records. In return, I would feature them in a video. I'm going to show off my records in order of which I got them, and if it's a colored pressing, I'll show you. If it's just on black vinyl, then I'm not going to show you. The first record I have here is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. This is the picture disc for it. You've got Han Solo, Rey, Finn is on this side, and of course Kylo Ren on this side. This was a gift. My favorite songs on here are probably Rey's theme and March of the Resistance, and this is composed by John Williams. He made all the music for Star Wars. I don't have a lot of picture discs, but this year I did get a couple. Next up I have another picture disc. This is the Avengers. Sorry about the glare, my ring light is right behind the camera. But this is the Avengers Infinity War soundtrack on picture disc. This was another gift. On this side you've got like the poster from the Avengers, and this side is kind of like the Avengers logo. My favorite songs on here are The Avengers and Porch, and the music from The Avengers was composed by Alan Silvestri. Next up I have Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Technically it's called The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings Film Music Collection. So this has songs from The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit on it, and this was performed by the City of Prague Philharmonic Orchestra. But in the movie, the music was composed by Howard Shore, and there are so many great songs on here. From The Hobbit, I really like Misty Mountains, Overhill, and Underhill. Oh, and Icy Fire, that one's really good. And this I got on Amazon. Next up, I have Juice WRLD. This is his latest album called Fighting Demons, and this is the Target exclusive red vinyl pressing. I got this from Target. So my favorite songs on here as of right now are Wander to LA, Not Enough, You Wouldn't Understand, and Burn. So on the same day that I went to Target to go get that on release date sometime in March, I also picked up this record. This is the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 soundtrack, and this is the deluxe edition, and it's the Target exclusive. And this is on like a split orange and yellow vinyl. I think it looks really cool. These songs were composed by Tyler Bates from the movie, and this has the soundtrack as well as the score. My favorite songs on here are Guardians, Inferno, Flashlight, and Mr. Blue Sky. Next I have another soundtrack. This is Dunkirk, the movie that is by Christopher Nolan, and this soundtrack was composed by Hans Zimmer. I really love Christopher Nolan and Hans Zimmer. They're such a perfect pair when it comes to movies, and I have a ton of Christopher Nolan movie soundtracks on vinyl. I think I have every single one actually, and I really love Hans Zimmer too. He's probably my favorite composer. This I got as a gift, and my favorite songs on here are probably Submarine and The Tide. I have another soundtrack. You guys should not be surprised by now. Actually, I think I got most of my soundtracks this year, so there's definitely going to be a lot in this video. But the next one up is again another Lord of the Rings one. This is again composed by Howard Shore, but the songs on this record were performed by the City of Prague Philharmonic Orchestra. But this pressing has the whole soundtrack from Lord of the Rings, so I'm really glad to have this on vinyl. In fact, this was also a gift, and this is on clear vinyl. I have way too many favorite songs on here. The Fellowship, Concerning Hobbits, Riders of Rohan. I also like Return of the King and Minas Tirith. Next up, I've got a couple of Star Wars records. The first, and that one's backwards. This first one here is Star Wars: The Last Jedi. So I got all of the new Star Wars trilogy records, and these were all gifted to me. So we got Star Wars: The Last Jedi here, and this was composed by John Williams, of course. My favorite song from here is actually the main theme and Escape, so the first song on the record. To go along with that, I have Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker on vinyl. This is on blue vinyl. I think this is such a pretty color. What a nice shade of blue. My favorite songs on here are probably probably The Rise of Skywalker, Farewell, and Reunion. This is the Target exclusive pressing, although this was gifted to me, so I didn't buy it from Target. And that one is also composed by John Williams because it's Star Wars. And surprise, surprise, another Star Wars record. This one is like the original though. Again, sorry about the glare. This is the Star Wars soundtrack on vinyl. I'm pretty sure this is A New Hope. This is a repress though, so it's not the original. Out of all of the Star Wars movies and Star Wars soundtracks, this one is my absolute favorite. I just love A New Hope the best, like the soundtrack the best. I really love the songs Cantina Band, the main title, Imperial Attack, and this one again was a gift. And of course that was composed by John Williams. Okay, moving away from some soundtracks for a little bit, I have this record which I've shown a lot recently. This is So Far So Good by the Chainsmokers, their latest album. I'm a big fan of the Chainsmokers, and this is probably my favorite album of theirs. It came out in May, and I just love this album so much. They really tried to go in like a different direction with this album, and I really love the sound of it. It's probably my favorite album from 2022, and this is pressed on bone colored vinyl. I got this online from Target, but it is not a Target exclusive. This is the standard edition, so I'm just going to tell you guys my favorite songs from the standard edition, which change all the time, but right now I really love iPad, I Love You, Channel 1, and Cyanide. Oh, I kind of forgot about this one. This is the band Camino. This is their self-titled debut album, which came out in 2021, but the vinyl didn't come out until like a year later. I waited like a year to get this, and you could probably tell why. It's yellow with black splatter. I think it looks really cool, but since they are an indie band, they're not like mainstream or anything, so they had trouble pressing this record, which is why it took so long, because there are a lot of vinyl being pressed at the same time, and theirs kind of got pushed back, like it wasn't prioritized, so that's why it took so long. So I feel kind of bad, but I'm really happy that I have this now. Actually, my #1 favorite is Know It All. I highly recommend that song. And I also like One Last Cigarette, Roses, Underneath My Skin, I Think I Like You. Yeah, those ones are my favorite. And this I can't remember. Where did I get this from? Oh, I remember now. I got this from the band Camino's website, their merch store, because I ordered it with a t-shirt. If you haven't heard of the band Camino, I highly recommend checking them out. They're an indie rock band, but they also kind of have like some pop rock / synth pop influence in their music, which is why I love them so much. Alright, next up is Batman. We've got Batman, the original motion picture score composed by Danny Elfman. I really love Danny Elfman, and this is from the Batman movie from 1989. This is a repress, but it is on this beautiful turquoise vinyl. Although to me it looks more like light blue, not necessarily turquoise, but I really love this color. And this was a gift, and Batman is one of my favorite superheroes, so I just love this soundtrack. It has the original Batman theme, which is why I love it so much. So I like the Batman theme, and I also really like the Batcave. Next up is probably the most expensive record that I bought last year. This is Dune. This cost me about $40, I think, maybe a little less, but nonetheless it was kind of expensive. And this is composed by Hans Zimmer again. I love Hans Zimmer. He did such a great job with this score. I really loved it, and of course I love the movie. I bought this myself from eBay, and this is on sand colored vinyl. There's a lot of songs on here I love. I like Armada, Dream of Arrakis. I think Leaving Caladan might be my favorite, but I really love this whole soundtrack. Next up, I have Area 21. Martin Garrix and Major make up this alias Area 21. This is basically like a concept album. It's Martin Garrix and Major as these two aliens, and they crash to Earth, and they're sharing their like alien music with the humans, but they don't really understand like Earth a whole lot and like our customs and things like that. So it's really interesting, and like it has some good commentary and stuff. This is on purple vinyl, and this was the indie exclusive vinyl pressing. I got this from my local record store. I'm such a big fan of Martin Garrix, so of course I had to get this album, and I have so many great memories surrounding this album. I made a ton of reaction videos for all the songs, and this came out around the same time that I met Martin Garrix, so that was really cool. I have a lot of favorite songs on here. My #1 is probably Lovin' Every Minute, but I also like Going Home, Pogo, and Own the Night. Next up, I have 5 Sauce 5 by 5 Seconds of Summer. This is their latest album that came out September 2022, and they had like 20 different colored variants for this album. It was so hard to pick which one I want to get because I limited myself to one so I wouldn't go crazy buying a bunch of copies of this album, but I ended up settling on the Urban Outfitters limited edition Candy Floss vinyl. This is one of my favorite pressings now in my collection. I love the light pink Candy Floss look of it. So my favorite songs off of the standard edition are Blender, Take My Hand, and Bad Omens, and I also like Haze. And I ordered this online from Urban Outfitters. Next up is a record I never thought I would own because I didn't even know about it until I bought it. This is Dillon Francis. This mixtape is fire. So Dillon Francis had a sale on his merch store where everything was $1 because he was trying to get rid of his stuff. And all I had to do was pay for shipping, so since it was $1, I just decided to get it, of course. I had never heard of it, and I didn't know any of the songs on it, but I'm really glad I bought this because I do really like it. I love Dillon Francis. My favorite songs on here are What's Your Name and Bun Up the Dance. This album is called No One Cares by the band Big Green Cherry, so they actually reached out to me and they wanted to send me this record, and so I would show it on a video. And this is very special because obviously it's signed by the band. It's a very limited number of pressings. I think there were only 200 available, and I have number 49. I have this sealed away because it is so rare, so I'll just put up a picture of the pressing. And inside of this record, it actually doubles as a board game inside of the gatefold, which is very cool and unique. And these are my favorite songs off of the album. These next two ones are also from like a small brand deal. This is from the company Vinyl Moon. This record is called Sour Idols. It's a compilation record. There's a lot of different music on here from a wide variety of artists and bands, so that's really cool, and it's honestly like right up my alley. It's specially curated to you, so thank you again to Vinyl Moon for giving me this, and I love this pressing too. It's such a pretty color. My favorite songs on here are Hello Silence and Without You, the second one that they gave me. It's called Lost in Sound, and of course it's also from Vinyl Moon, and this is on like a dark blue colored vinyl. It's got a little bit of like some pink and stuff in there, which is nice. Again, this is another compilation album, and my favorite songs are Stasis and Downcast. So next up I have this album called Feathers, and it's by Eagle Eyed Tiger. This one was a gift to me from like a local DJ in my area, the Chicagoland area, and this is a chill wave record. I've mentioned it so many times recently, but this is a really cool splatter pressing that I really love. I like the songs Drive You Home and Feathers. Next up, I have the Target exclusive edition of The Mandalorian, the Season 1 soundtrack. This is music by Ludwig Göransson. I always mispronounce his last name, sorry. So I got this from Target. This is on bone-colored vinyl. I love The Mandalorian TV show, and I really love the soundtrack. My favorite songs on here are Jawa's Attack and, of course, the Mandalorian theme. To go along with that, I have The Mandalorian Season 2 soundtrack. This is also the Target exclusive edition, but this one was gifted to me, and it's the same composer, Ludwig Göransson. My favorite songs on here are Manda Was Back. That's probably my #1 favorite. I love that. I also like Come With Me and Back Together. This is on Translucent Turquoise. Next up are some classics. They don't need much explaining, but this is Bad by Michael Jackson. My favorite songs on here are The Way You Make Me Feel, Smooth Criminal, and Bad, and this was a gift. To go along with that, I have Thriller. This is another classic. My favorite songs on here are Beat It, Billie Jean, and Thriller, and this one was also a gift. Here I have Interstellar. This is the expanded edition, the Interstellar soundtrack composed by Hans Zimmer, of course, and the movie is by Christopher Nolan. The expanded edition is basically like the deluxe edition of the soundtrack. It's got a couple of extra songs. And one side of the record, I think it's side H, is actually like an etching. I really, really love the artwork on here, and this was also gifted to me. Next up, I have the Batman soundtrack. I've been trying to find this all year, and it was gifted to me, so I'm grateful for that. The music was composed by Michael Giacchino. I'm probably mispronouncing it, sorry. The Batman was probably my favorite movie from 2022. I like The Batman, Catwoman, and I also like It's Raining Vengeance. I wish I could show all the vinyl right now, but it's like pretty tightly packed in here in this sleeve, and it's kind of hard to get out, but I will put it up on screen. It's on black, red, and green vinyl, which is so cool. I love the color scheme. The last record I have here is Funk Wave Bounces Volume 2 by Calvin Harris. This is his latest album. I really enjoyed this album despite all the negative criticism, and I like a lot of the songs on here, so of course I had to get it on vinyl, and I got this from Calvin Harris's merch store. My favorite songs on here are Potion, New to You, Obsessed, and Stay With Me, and I really like Stay With Me Part 2 as well. And I got the pink colored pressing from his merch store. Here's what that looks like. That is all of the new records that I added to my vinyl collection in 2022. I added about 30 records to my collection. I think I have over 60 records now. I'm interested to see how many I'll get in 2023 because I am running out of space. I think half of the records were gifted to me that I got in 2022, maybe even more than that, so I'm super grateful for that. If you have any questions about any of the records I showed in this video or just anything in general, you can comment down below, and there are a ton of more vinyl related videos planned in the next couple of weeks, so subscribe if you want to see that, and if you're already subscribed, stay tuned. Let me know your favorite records that you picked up in 2022. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!